Unfiltered Podcast, Wednesday. We are back to doing these dailies, man. I'm pretty excited about that. Really excited about it. Today's podcast, of course, this is a part of Earnest Speaking Media. One of 4 podcasts. Well, 3. Well, okay, it is actually 4 podcasts, but we are actually going to be relaunching a couple shows. We obviously have Take the Breath podcast. You have the Earnest Speaking Podcast, of course, the main show. And my wife and I are relaunching our podcast. We started about a year and a half ago. And it's going to be, of course, a good time. We don't know when we're going to do it. We're working on a lot of things here. But I really did miss doing the dailies. And I think one of the reasons why, I think now I'm in a better place now in terms of being able to commit to this a little more. Again, burnout. And I look, it can happen again. I might get burned out again. Who knows? But right now, it feels good. It feels like it's a right time to do this. A lot of times, a lot of topics that I can't get to immediately because of scheduling issues and stories that don't really don't have much legs other than a few hours or a day or so. You know, I like to speak upon. I can finally get to. And again, I don't want to clutter the Earnest Speaking Podcast feed. I could do this on that feed as well too, but then you're cluttering, the entire feed. I don't want to do that. So we give this a home. Again, 10, 15 minutes a day, Monday to Friday, reacting to everything you see on sports, pop culture, politics, you name it, media, all that. Some of the small stories. Earnest Speaking Podcast, of course, is the long form podcast. I'm actually doing this also. It's called Unfiltered, of course, for the fact that there's no production. I'm doing this in the car right now as we speak. It's going to be raw. No outros, intros, none of that. Just get in, speak my piece, and get out. That simple. So we're going to hopefully continue this. Like I said, I started the show 4 years ago, this podcast 4 years ago, and it's been truly, one of my favorites. But let's hope that I can hold on and not get burnt out. So anyway, the Lakers lose 4 straight games. And the whole world's concerned. And it's as simple. If it comes down to just one thing, one person, Anthony Davis. If Anthony Davis is healthy, the Lakers will be fine. And Anthony is not healthy, the Lakers are toast. It's that simple. Their championship reigns hangs on Anthony Davis' health. And this is a big deal because of the fact that, he's hurt, no big deal, come back in a year. The problem is Anthony Davis' history will lead you to believe that nothing is so certain. The Lakers got a break last year, in my opinion, because of the fact that by shutting down COVID, due to COVID, should I say? I'm saying that a little too fast. By them shutting down because of COVID, it allowed Davis to actually, not that he was hurt at the time, but he was able to rest for a few months, and the Lakers were fresh as a daisy, in August when the season restarted, and the Lakers were able to take that and to parlay that into a championship. And again, there's no advantage to that. It is what it is. Circumstances played out in that way. But now, obviously the turnaround was quick for the Lakers because they won a title, so the turnaround was pretty quick. And now you have a situation where Anthony Davis is now having lower leg issues, Achilles or whatever it may be. And again, it's just simple. He's healthy, Lakers are going to win a championship again. If he's not healthy, Lakers are toast. The Lakers probably going to get on the second round of the playoffs. Okay, because as great as LeBron is, you have Utah who just beat him last year. I'm not saying Utah's win the whole thing and none of that. I just think that we need to be a little more sensible and a lot more common sense with some of these things. So the Lakers will everything rides on Anthony Davis' health. That simple. So we'll see what happens there. As for other things to talk about, the NFL, this Russell Wilson story has really started to pick up, slowly pick up. There are reportedly teams that have some, obviously teams should have interest in Russell Wilson's top 5 quarterback in the league, of course. But the fact that now we have teams that are actually contacting the Seahawks, and the Seahawks are actually taking phone calls just to get a little touch to see how warm the water is for Russell Wilson if they were to actually trade him. Now, I believe that Russell Wilson will not go anywhere. I think he will be the quarterback for Seattle Seahawks come week 1. But I do think the rumors, I do think his comments on the Dan Patrick show a couple weeks ago are real. And I think Seattle Seahawks, if they're smart, which you think they are, but I think Pete Carroll's gotten stale there personally. I think Pete Carroll is stale, and I think he needs to tighten this shit up. He needs to tighten this shit up right now. You cannot afford to lose this guy. This guy is a top 5 quarterback in the league. He's the reason you guys are even relevant at this point now. Seattle has been I'll say dumpster fire, but if it was not for Russell Wilson being on that team, the 12-4 Seahawks last year, hell no, that'd be a 2-14 team without Russell Wilson. Let's be real. So they need to tighten that shit up. But it is interesting though to see that this Russell Wilson story, has actually grown a lot of legs in the last 2 weeks. A simple comment to Dan Patrick about Russell Wilson wanting to have more say-so in front office management decisions in terms of like who and what to sign and whatnot, is actually now gaining a lot of legs. And if Seattle's smart, they will. They should involve him in that, because he is a quarterback. He should have some influence about which lineman to draft or which style lineman to draft. That's common sense. And if they're not going to allow Russell to have input, then really, why stay there? He has all the leverage, man, at this point. He is the man of that team. And you can sit there and say, oh, well, Sierra's doing this. It's not Sierra. Stop. Fans going to blame Sierra for this. It's like, they treat her like yoga. Oh, no. She shouldn't be a scapegoat. The fact of the matter is, the team you root for, their front office sucks. And they need to get their shit straight. Well, they really don't suck, but you know what I mean. So, get it right. Big Ben Roethlisberger. A lot of speculation, too, about him and about his future. Can't remember if he's actually a free agent, if he has an opt-out clause, whatever. But a lot of talk about Big Ben and whether or not the Steelers should cut him or whatever. Look, here's the problem with cutting Ben Roethlisberger. The Steelers don't have another option. There is no Jimmy Garoppolo behind. There is no Steve Young. There is no Aaron Rodgers behind. Okay, so even if you want Big Ben, and Big Ben is on his last legs, which he obviously is. He had a really bad second half of the year last season. He is right now still the best option for the Steelers right now in the 1-year sample to stay relevant. What you do, the Steelers, what you should do is figure out a way to draft his predecessor, find the next guy, identify the next guy, in the draft or maybe, and groom him to be Big Ben's replacement in 2022. That's common sense. Same happened in the New York Giants a couple years ago with Daniel Jones. Eli Manning, we knew Eli Manning was on his last legs. They drafted Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones ended up being a starting quarterback 3 weeks into the season. It's not that hard, but right now they don't have a quarterback of Big Ben. So while Big Ben probably should retire and probably, is not, probably not in the top 15, 16 quarterback in the league anymore, he is still the best option on the Steelers right now in the short term. And they need to address that. And you keep Ben one more year. Might as well keep him one more year. You might win 10 games still this year. Maybe you have a partnership chance. Maybe get a break somewhere in the AFC where you can get into the playoffs. Who knows? But for the time being, he is your best option. So that's just the direction they need to go in the discussion. All right, finally before I go, I watched the first part of the Woody Allen documentary, Allen versus Farrow. Lots of controversy around that, of course. You guys know me when it comes to documentaries. I'm always skeptical about the direction it goes in and whose perspective it comes from. And I think we need to also be very careful how we judge these things. Now, there's no secret, and I'm not even a Woody Allen fan necessarily, so I'm not here defending him at all, because quite frankly, I think the guy is a bit creepy, a bit weird. Even if everything checked out in terms of him and his marriage to Sun Yi and whatnot. It is weird. Is it weird that he was married to somebody that's 30 plus years of his junior? Absolutely. Was it illegal? No, it was not illegal. The law states that if you're 18 over, you're legal age to get married. That's simple. So he did nothing wrong. But the big story, the bigger story in here so far is whether or not he actually was inappropriate with his, not a stepdaughter, because there wasn't actually technically his, blood, whatever it may be, Dylan Farrow, Mia Farrow's adopted daughter. Not adopted, I'm sorry, not adopted. Whether or not she was molested by Woody Allen. And we don't, there's a lot of things about, she's saying that she was, and there's been stuff about the fact that they there were doctors that said that while the relationship between Woody and her was a bit inappropriate, that it did not go to the point of sexual or maybe. So there's a lot of weird stuff here in terms of who to believe, whatnot. And the thing is, if you watch the documentary face value, you obviously you're going to think, okay, well, he married somebody at 21 years old. He's definitely a weird guy, and obviously we have to probably believe this. And and look, I know there are victims. Obviously, you believe victims, all that, but we must also verify and make sure this is true. This documentary, I'm a little more confused because obviously it feels like a hit job to some degree, but at the same time, I'm still trying to take in information. And she does sound believable. But at the same time, I'm gonna watch the rest of the documentary and see what is fact fiction, because there's a lot of things going on. Obviously the impact of his marriage to Mia Farrow, whatnot, and just the relationship they had. And actually, they weren't even married, were they? No, they were married. And the relationship, and then the accusation of other kids there accusing her of abuse. So there's a lot of things to unpack on this whole story. So I'll obviously give my my thoughts with each part of the documentary, my reaction to it, and then I think when the whole thing's over, I'll give my total recap and what I feel about the whole thing. My wife watched it with me. She said to go and watch the rest with her because she's not really. She just was disgusted with some of the things she was hearing and whatnot. She's just annoyed. So, which I don't blame her, of course. So, anyway, that'll do it for today's Fold the Podcast. Again, today is February 25th, 2021. Of course, check out all the podcasts on Earth Speaking Media, Earth Speaking Podcast, Take the Wrestling. Soon to come back. That's a Christian podcast. I'm on Twitter at EJChristian7. Talk to you guys later. Love you guys. Take care and see ya.